ladies and gentlemen, what is going on? Welcome another episode of the All Pro JAFFOs. Good morning on this lovely Saturday, where we bring you the highly elevated sports talk for the highly elevated sports fan. I am your host, JP.
Hey, yo.
You guys already know Country K is always fashionably late, but until then, we've got guests on the show today. The man on the bottom, you already know. I can't use the other one anymore.
Nope.
The quarterback for the Boston Omegas, and we would call him the mouth of the South, but he's not from the South. We're trying to figure out some sort of name that dues to you just going.
I'm the yeast of the East because I'm a fun guy. How about that?
You said it. You said
That's
it.
disgusting, but I said it.
He's that guy.
Cory Hammond is back, ladies and gentlemen. And today he's brought one of his teammates. They all know him by Goose, but now we get to know him by his name, Xavier. Is it Xavier or Xavier? There's two different ways I usually hear it.
It's Xavier.
Xavier, okay. Xavier Vinny. Goose to the apparent maverick of Cory Hammond. Goose, welcome. So I have to ask, what is it like being in the huddle and playing with Cory Hammond?
Here, I'll mute myself. Go ahead.
It's like magical. Like, the way he picks apart the game in his brain, the way he can see things and adjust to it. And he can take hits. Man, he takes hits. He takes hits and keeps on getting up and getting up and getting up. And he's a very he's not your typical quarterback. Quarterback after a while getting hit 4 or 5 times, he's complaining. He's a very all about the team. It's I know you guys see him talk a lot, but he's more all about the team and whatever can help the team win.
I mean, we definitely know that he can talk, but that's one thing that we do know, and we have given him credit for, because there are a lot of highlights that we've seen. He gets smacked on a regular basis, and that may be because of the playing style. That's probably one of the main reasons on why you do.
It's my face.
But I mean, like you said, he does have that toughness to him. He did keep getting up, and one of the very few quarterbacks that I do know that doesn't necessarily, I wouldn't say not complain, but he complains, but then not complains. He complains that he's getting hit, but he doesn't complain. He just gets back up and does his thing. So good to know that he's that leader on the field.
Oh yeah, he definitely.
Well.
That's why I think he's, honestly, in my opinion, top 3 quarterback. I mean, you look at, and that's no disrespect to the Omegas, you just look at the weapons that we have and that he's given with. I don't think any other quarterback could have went this far in the league, especially lasting. We're going into week 4, and he's still standing, still talking, and still, controlling our offense.
I mean, you guys haven't necessarily had the easiest road.
Yeah,
and it doesn't necessarily get any easier this week. You guys have played Huff and the Animals,
yep.
the Watchmen, and now this week you're going into let's be real, a very pissed off BIC team.
Absolutely, I was going to say yes, absolutely.
So as I say, it just gets tougher and tougher. But I mean, you guys kind of knew this already going in, being a newer division, newer team coming into the A7FL. But did you think it would literally be trial by fire? Your first 4 weeks, essentially, you're playing what some would argue the top 4 teams in the league.
Honestly, no. I mean, I don't really look at my opponent. It's a regular opponent, I give BIC their credit and their props, but at the end of the day, it's the team that we have to play. And some of us expect us to lose. Some of our teams expect us to lose, but it's either a lesson or a learning curve. You know, it's a learning curve, no matter what you do. We're a first-year team. I hate to use that excuse, but you know, we're a first-year team. We have weapons. We just don't have the right place to put them because of our numbers. You know, we have some linemen that are tight ends.
No.
We have some defensive backs that are, you know, wide receivers going both ways. So I think we can honestly hang with them, you know, for a certain extent until the numbers getting catch up to us and we get tired. Like the Snow Tribe, they only had 6 points on us, and it was going in the third quarter. So
yeah. Yeah, I kind of looked at it like this, like, and I know you say like you don't want to use it as an excuse, and I agree with you. I'm kind of one of those guys too, to where just the excuses end up getting repetitive and old after a while.
yes,
But there is an admission, at least in this case, being a new franchise, that yes, yeah, you can say, oh, it's an excuse. We want to look past it. But there are certain realities, especially like you said with the numbers game. Eventually, people get tired,
yeah,
playing Iron Man football the entire time. Again, we never thought we would see it. We were completely joking with Cory when we told him to go on defense. Was it week 1? It was against the Animals, right? We completely messed, but that's the reality of the situation. The number.
And I got a half tackle.
A half, yeah, there you go. Half tackle on the stat sheet, but there are those realities, and we do see, at least with us on our end, we do see the potential of the team. It's just one of those, like you said, you just got to add the numbers.
yep.
So has there, and Cory, maybe you can attest to this or know a little bit more. Has there been an effort to kind of boost the numbers?
I mean,
of
the
squad?
thing about the core group of guys that we have been consistent. They're there, and no disrespect to the guys that are just kind of figuring it out, but Goose would be the first one to tell you there's a lot of guys that signed up that when it comes down to it, you look at the thing in front of you, and you as a man and a football player, you say, do I want to do this? Or am I good on this? And a lot, even the top teams in this league, there's guys. Just muted myself there. My bad. That shows my age. But even some of the top teams and the top guys, like Rob famously says, he won't go to the games where he doesn't necessarily respect the opponent as an equal. He doesn't even show up. Late in his career, obviously, when he was earning his stripes when BIC was getting their asses kicked like the Omegas. That seems like before my kids, which is basically ancient times now. But there's a level of fortitude and courage that it takes for me and some of the New Jersey guys that joined the Boston team really late because of the circumstances. We just have to get there to the stadium. The Boston guys are every single week driving minimum 5-6 hours.
Yeah. Last
week to get that performance that we gave the Watchmen, and shout outs to those guys who certainly had their fun. The jerks.
I didn't I didn't mean to get you on the highlight.
No.
Look,
that
way,
look,
it
anybody
was one
that's
of those
brave enough to step on the field
like,
knows that there's a high likelihood of one way or the other, and that kind of goes into what I'm saying here. You have to have a fortitude and courage to do that, but also for these guys to make the commitment to not only football itself. Shout outs to Goose and Farrow and Terry and Bradley, right? All those guys, and Samuel, who's new. He's been catching passes like an alligator, so hopefully he doesn't see this. We'll work on that. But to have that kind of commitment to football, to the league, and to the beginning of a journey, starting a division in a professional league, and for those guys especially, and that's why I wanted to have Goose on. For those guys especially, and Goose is the one who kind of stands out because he's been able to get the statistical output and the performances that are visible on the games that you can watch on a7fl.tv and YouTube. And be nice to me in the comment section.
They never will know that.
Well, if I ask, then maybe I'll promote even more hate, and then that's always good for the league.
You've pissed off too many people for that to be an
Well,
actual thing.
I was talking to a friend of mine, Kenny Stansberry, and I don't know who that is, but I'll reveal it afterwards. I was talking to him about a specific play in the Watchmen game in which a character by the name of Wolverine was licking his chops trying to get to me, and he had a free rush, and I did the little side dip, and he only got my shin. And I was remarking how it's a fitting name because somehow his hand just touched my shin through a sock, and I have scabs and abrasions and a bruise. So does he have claws? Does he not? I don't know. It's not confirmed, but I think I'm leaning one way or the other. But the main point that I was trying to make here before I started going off my stupid tangent was most of the men that we line up against are the same dudes that in a fight, when there's 70 people, will say all types of shit. But when you're standing there and you only got the 4 guys to the 40 or you know our 12 to their 40, and we're still standing there, you know, not backing down, not running away, and you know, yes, we've gotten beat down a bunch of times. You look at the scores, we can't deny that.
Right.
I will say though, it takes a different type of person to stand there and take that beating than it does to stand behind the guys that are the starters and the main players, because it is a 7-on-7 league. And to hide behind a 40-man roster and then to post on Instagram like that I got cut again when just last week, Jay, I don't know if you were watching, the Snow Tribe's quarterback quit mid-game.
Yeah, I was.
And I don't know if that's a referendum on the way that team is run or the individual or just the program
Davis
itself.
on him.
But I know for a fact that the guy above me to over here, right here, Goose, if he was the quarterback for a team and things were going bad, I've seen him, not at quarterback specifically, but I've seen him fight through injury, exhaustion, and just flat out embarrassment at times because these teams are getting what they want. And I just saw a guy from the team that was trying to take a victory lap after we put up, 270 yards with 12 guys on them. And kept the score close for most of the game. They were trying to take the victory lap, and they got guys quitting on their sideline.
So that's kind of one of the things that I didn't want it to get lost in the shuffle, because at least how we like to handle things here, there's reasons for everything the way that it goes. Certain reasons are not a reflection on how the team actually is. So when you look at the scores, if you never watched the game, you can look at the score and go, "Holy shit! Yeah, this is a trash team. Why are they even in the league? What the hell is it?"
You want to hear a crazy stat before I derail your whole thought? In my last 5 games as a starting quarterback, including the 2 in Vegas, in which I was undermanned against a team they called the Dream Team, which thanks Vegas. And then the first 3 games with the Omegas, which we have talent, but we're still, again, understaffed. I am a combined loss 300-30. So yeah, keep going, Jay, with that stats. Don't tell the whole story because hopefully you redeem me.
But again, it's certain points you can look at the stats and go, yeah, the team's pretty bad. But in other cases, the stats don't necessarily tell the entire story. Because when you actually watch, like you said, you guys do have that keep battling. Doesn't matter how much we're down by, we're going to keep fighting. We're going to keep, trying to play the game. You guys haven't been skunked, so that's, it's
shout outs to the Watchmen. We won't go into the specifics there, but shout out to the Watchmen.
But it's at a point where it does show, like you said, the courage that everybody has going, yeah, we're getting beat, but we're still playing because, like you said, most guys wouldn't.
Well, and I think it's also important to know as we talk not only just about our team, and that's why I did bring Goose on, is to kind of bring awareness to, who the guy is that has, what did we say? You got 8 and 4. So you got 20 receptions on the year, 300 yards and a touchdown. 3 games. I think that's nice. But, not only that, but the league in general, You know, one of the biggest comments we get as I go into my announcer role on the games of the week is, "Oh, I could do this, blah, blah, blah." And no disrespect to the guys in Boston, but you know, at least they were man enough to show up. But it just goes to show you the level of competition, especially in the Northeast.
Oh yeah.
Because I told my guys after the Watchmen game, you know, they're relatively new to the whole history of the league. The history of that team that we played Sunday is that they were supposed to be two separate championship contending teams from the Baltimore region. You look at the film last year, Rare Breed and Gators, they're in the Final Four, the national Final Four.
Yeah.
The Rare Breed beat the super team that, you know, we're going to hear a lot from probably down the road in the Tampa Bay Nightcrawlers. And the Gators made the Final Four because they beat the Renegades, who were in the Elite Eight. And this was at the same time, the same level of the playoffs that Vegas lost. So I tell my guys all the time, if we were playing in the Ohio division or the Florida division or the California division or the Vegas division even, we would be competitive and be able to get some wins. But the fact is we airdropped Fortnite characters into Call of Duty Modern Warfare, where everybody's already got a fucking.
Hey, I'm one of those guys. I'm one of those guys.
Yeah.
One of those guys.
But the thing
and
is,
I'm sitting there
like,
with a pickaxe, and that's it.
especially
And everybody else has got
with
AK-47s
like,
and bazookas and shit.
With Goose, I looked at it this way because this is, for all intents and purposes, this is your first time in the league, right?
Yes.
So the way that I've seen the way you have adjusted, because you did kind of just jump off the page real quick, especially the first few games, going, oh, okay, this is the guy outside of, you know, Cory coming in here, and this is the guy who's probably going to lead.
I'm just, you know, I just get the attention.
You get the. I mean,
the guys who actually do the thing more than credit.
But with Goose, the how difficult was it to kind of adjust to the game? And then now I see that it's starting to come a little bit easier to you as the season goes on. But how was the difficult changing going into the A7FL league?
The way I describe it, honestly, what I could say is like it's like a mix between speed and strength. Like I think of like contact flag football, you know, besides tackling. You got guys that are bigger than me, 3-something pounds, and if I ever think I can wait for a lane, they're gonna catch up to me, like they mostly do. Like the screen passes that Cory had against Snowman, a DN caught me, and never in my life have been caught by a DN. These guys are bigger and faster. Like I said, not giving myself an excuse or a reason. I've been battling injury since January with my ham and my hip, so that has to come into a factor. But just the intensity too. The intensity. I mean, semi-pro. Like I said, we have intensity out here. We have national ranked teams for semi-pro, like the Shams, the Admirals, the Hayward Hitman, and so on and so forth. You know, there's a lot of Boston teams within that 100 team ranking across the nation. So I go against them competitively, and it was a good adjustment. I feel like a little bit easier, you know, having Cory as my quarterback. I don't think I would be able to do it anybody else. To honestly lead, because he also doesn't just give me plays, he leads, and he explains on why we do it this way. Like that beautiful play he drawed up for Euro on that screen, that fake block screen. I know I ran a little bit slow, but it was just
you didn't.
the play design in general, just like his mind, man, his brain and how he can see things it's remarkable. You have to literally be in that huddle and watch those wheels turn, and then magic happens. But we're only limited so many plays.
Yeah.
You know, the amount of time you have to line. There's no respect to the line. That's why we have to make these short passes. That's why when I catch the ball, I know I have to go for at least 15, 16 yards because we may not get the shot again. That's why I probably have one of the, in my opinion, out of all the rookies, one of the most yards after catch. There's, you know.
Oh, easy.
Dude.
Yeah. Well, you have a quarterback, which and I think it is that, you know, blessing in disguise that you guys got him, because you guys have somebody who's been in the league for forever.
Yeah.
You know, you see the gray hairs, you know, as a part of the reason, but the knowledge of how the game runs, who it is that you guys are playing, because I'm sure when it comes to like scouting and watching tape and everything, he's a guy that you can easily go to, and yeah, he can tell you at the top of his head how this runs and everything else like that. So you have somebody who will help you learn the game quicker than most others probably would.
And out of all my quarterbacks I've had in my life, Cory is the one that trusts me the most. On third, fourth down against the Hitman, there was against the Watchmen. I apologize. There's a few times to where, they even triple team me on third and fourth downs. And Cory still trusted me with that pass and with that ball.
Let's
go. I've never seen anybody be triple teamed before. Double teamed is one thing, but triple teamed, and the amount of confidence that Cory has in me to still throw me that ball is it's like how would I say this, like a prime Matt Stafford in a Megatron, that old and young quarterback. No matter how long I'm in this league or how much I take off, I will have to give my stepping stone to Cory. Winning, like I said, even if I win Rookie of the Year, that trophy that's going to Cory. I can't myself or without him.
I had my chance at Rookie of the Year, and my my inaugural game in the league, I threw a touchdown pass my first play, and then the next game was against who we're playing, BIC. First pass of the game,
pick six.
And then I threw 7 touchdowns in that game. How do you think we did, Goose?
With you at
lost by 2 scores. If you look up Darryl Verges, he's made the NFL practice squads multiple times. He had 11 carries, 9 touchdowns in that game. So that goes back to, that was 2013. That was 10 years ago.
Bro,
I had my chance at a Rookie of the Year, man. If you win that, and there's stiff competition because, not to take away from Goose, who's obviously by far the outstanding player on our team. Maybe the Rookie of the Year in our division, which is saying a lot because there's stacked teams, but there's also all these teams from all these new teams. And like, for instance, the man looks like he's 30 something, but Darnell Richardson, the Kryptonite quarterback, he's got like 20 plus touchdowns as a quarterback out there already. So I think Goose being in the conversation speaks more to like the MVP status, that if we didn't have Goose, to be honest, and I'm not disrespecting anybody else on the team, like he was saying, when he's getting double covered and triple covered, sometimes he's still our best option. Now we got a lot of guys, but the fact is that when they get worn down in the third and fourth quarter, you're running on fumes, and you're running on, that championship energy that just comes from, something that's beyond what you could actually give, and you're just making it up as you go. But I'm down with the campaign, Goose, I appreciate the humility. But you get that trophy, man. That's staying right in whatever zip code Boston is.
I would actually argue the same thing, because and you would have to look at it from a different perspective than most. You would literally have to look at it, like Cory said, without you, would the team be, any better or any worse? We're probably going to lean towards it's going to be worse. But also, when you look at the stats and you look at the output and you look at, basically, you give it your 150% every single game while hurt, playing both sides of the ball. There's a certain aspect to it that your road to Rookie of the Year is much more difficult than anybody else in the league. That's why I'm looking at it going, if you look at it that way, and the importance of I think you have a good shot. I think you have a really good shot.
Like I'm gonna keep throwing it to him. I ain't running.
Sorry I'm late, guys. Nature. So I haven't seen y'all games. The way.
No, Goose, you muted. You muted, Goose. Goose, you muted.
Alpine was inspirational as hell, my guy, but you are definitely muted.
Goose, you muted. Yeah, I'm gonna text him.
Oh no, he just heard.
He realizes it now.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, you're learning too much from me, man. I taught you too much. You're muting yourself and shit. I remember the one time I was spitting game and you guys were like, yo, and I was just like in it. You back, Goose?
Nope.
Nah, he dealing with technical difficulties. So, Country K, you were saying you haven't seen the games yet?
I haven't seen the games, no.
All right, well, I'm gonna do a condensed version. I'm gonna send you just the choice plays.
Okay.
I'll just put this out there. me and Goose talk about it all the time because, you know, part of trying to improve is you do film study. Part of film study is you do, you know, statistical analysis. So Chiboy, as Goose is getting back in, Chiboy is 43 for 97, 465 yards, 1 touchdown, 3 interceptions.
Goose, sometimes closing out of it and then coming back in makes it easier.
Yeah, I just did that right now. I was like, I'm gonna try
I
this.
think I'm coming back as feedback, right? Oh no, you're good now.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, yeah, we
43 for 97, 465 yards, 1 touchdown, 3 interceptions against third best team in the league. Revenge game, which it was close for a lot longer than the final score says.
Right.
And number 6 team in the league. So
okay,
that's the statistical for me. And then Goose over here is 20 catches, 300 yards, and a touchdown.
Oh,
and now we play BIC. So you know, it's an easier game. Obviously,
So let me ask
don't do that to yourself, Corey.
Kenny Stansberry, the guy I was talking to, by the way, he's the GM and runs BIC. So I've been talking to him all week.
I think we should start sending out top shelving shirts.
Oh yeah,
that has to happen.
We have to. Our top shelving idea is basically when
receiver just head topping somebody.
5 points.
It's essentially the easiest way to explain it. When somebody receiver head topping, they top shelving somebody. You getting some because I'm 6'10", you know what I'm saying? So I'm grabbing shit.
You live in the top shelf.
Yeah, like everything up while I'm grabbing is dusty. Ain't nobody else coming up here. You little fellas, you gotta stay down there. You know what I'm saying? We up here on the top shelf.
Everybody else puts their car keys on the counter. Country K walks in a fucking house and he's just like, and it's just on the top shelf.
Hey, I used to put shit on the ceiling fan in college just to fuck with.
Yo, that's the first thing I thought. I said, you probably gonna put that shit on the ceiling fan.
Nah, he's aware of every house that he goes in, whether it has a ceiling fan or not. Really? You know, my 6 foot ass and my wife, thank God she can't hear me. She'd be screaming 5'11" from even in the house, like 3 rooms away. But I don't even know.
Are you 6 feet in cleats?
What's up?
You're 6 feet in cleats?
Oh, I'm damn near 6'3" in cleats. Let's go. I'm gonna do the hair. I'm gonna do like I always do the anime characters. I'm gonna do the hair like All Might. You know how All Might does in My Hero? He's got the 2 things. I'm gonna do my hair up here, and I'm just gonna say 6'4". Let's go. 6'6". Look, I'm almost a Country K with this shit. Like I'm pulling
it. When I'm slouching and going indoors.
So you guys are what's the and Corey, since you live pretty much, what is like the practice situation, or is it just
exactly
when you guys see each other on Sunday, that's it?
I mean, realistically, like, you know, we don't have to pull the curtain that far back on the A7FL, or, you know, I'm a representative of the league, and it's widely known, anybody that follows the league religiously, that we are the league that we work Monday through Friday, sometimes Saturday, and we play Sunday. So the reality of the Omegas getting together, despite how hard Mike Makaroma, or whatever, however we pronounce Mike's last name. Shout out to Mike. Yeah. But however bad he wants to wish it to be so, guys got jobs, guys got mad kids. One of the guys has tons of kids, but guys got jobs, guys got responsibilities, and the Boston guys already commit a full like 16 hours to the A7FL. The only person that does that much is Matt Ryan per week, and he does triple that likely. But I mean, for us to ask those guys to come to either a midpoint or Jersey, or us to drive up, it's you know, finding that time in the schedule doesn't really work. So we make the best of what we can do. And that's really what we're learning as an Omegas team, is that we have to take advantage of all the opportunities that we have. And we have to realize that we're behind 8 ball in a lot of situations, and we have to overcome a lot more adversity than a lot of other teams. So guys get.
Sorry to cut you off, but like when us Boston guys, Corey's there like 3 hours before we are. You know, as we're getting off our van, our team van, we have to stretch within 5 minutes and get ready and to start studying the plays and start, because we do Zoom call, but to actually doing Zoom and actually physically doing the play yourself is two different things,
Yeah.
So we have like maybe 5 minutes to stretch, and then we're right in following Corey's lead, So that's a lot of our adversity, If the game's I can see at 7 o'clock, but by the time we get back to the house, it's 5 o'clock, and some of us have to work from
In the
6.
morning.
Yeah.
Damn.
Most of us, like, I don't get back to my house until like maybe like 5:15, and then at this point, I'm just bringing my work clothes. I work construction, so at this point, I just bring my work clothes, and then I shoot straight to work.
Man. Oh, so it's a lot. I mean, it's a lot worse than we could have anticipated. Okay, so you guys have essentially been playing all away games. Has
Yeah.
there been some sort of effort to get a Boston Omegas home game like in
There
Boston? So you guys
was
don't have to.
there was initially going to be Boston games. The fact is that due to a lot of circumstances that the specifics we aren't going to have to get into, but a lot of circumstances it was basically, all right, we can't really do the whole go to Boston for the one team, but that just shows the dedication of the guys that did sign on. When the 3-on-1 podcast had on Denzel White, this was when I was still like a Snow Tribe clown, like always talking about their bullshit, trying to promote their brand, and look how far that got me. Fucking idiots. But and I'm including myself in that statement. But we were talking to them about guys that were on the roster, and they had an NFL guy that they were talking about. There were other guys that were involved. I think Goose was one of the early signups. But what ended up happening is that because of the situations that a lot of people can't control, there were two teams, including the J Rollers, who were supposed to be another Jersey team that we were even talking about in the preseason rankings and schedule. And it just sometimes just doesn't work out. So there was a lot of behind the scenes garbage that made it basically the guys from Boston's problem. And guys like me and Kenyatta, who we call Euro,
my guy.
Yeah, the guy who has the number 2 is the number 2 leading receiver for our team, and then Steven Rivera, who's the number 3 leading receiver for our team. Those guys are Jersey guys that found their way onto the roster too. So I would say it's almost 50-50 whether we're Jersey or Boston. I mean, we're all Boston. Like I'm repping the hat. I got this hat as soon as I found it on Amazon. My wife got it for me for my birthday. That's what's up.
Hey, I'm not gonna lie though. That it's a clean looking hat.
Yeah, and honestly, I've always been a Boston fan, so that's why when I announced where I was going on your guys' show, which was the first to hear it, so you're welcome, because I'm sure the entire A7FL watched
it. Maybe about a quarter fraction of them did, but
the season, each play, each series, each quarter, it's been an away game for the Boston Omegas, but we're fighting and we're still in here. And none of the guys that we really look to as core guys, I haven't seen any quitting them. I've seen a lot more fight in those guys than a lot of the guys that we even play. I got guys that are playing both sides of the line that are clearly not in shape, still fighting because for some reason me getting destroyed somehow inspires people to not complain about
my boy 67. He takes it personal.
Yeah, Terry who has been fighting. He's been fighting, and I even have to say, like, look, take this one off.
Does not stop blocking. I'll be 30 yards down the field on reception trying to juke a guy, and there Terry is 2 yards from him. Ready. Whenever I go down 30 yards down the field, he's the first one to pick me up. He has heart. He definitely gives it all.
So at this point, what I really want to know, because I mean, I know how it is for Corey, but Goose, from you being a first-year player, for one, what made you want to get into the league? And 2, what's the driving force to keep going?
What got me into the league was I'm a very Corey is now too as well, I guess. I'm a very big Boston guy. I've seen an opportunity to promote my city. To help out, to start something, to be a part of something bigger than myself. what keeps me going, honestly, I'd have to say my Boston guys. Euro, Corey, Steve, everybody. Giving it 110%. If we didn't give it 100% and we just rolled over, then no. But if my other teammates are fighting, then I feel responsible. I have to fight. Especially Big Rob. Big Rob and Matt Ryan would probably DM me and kill me personally if I ever decided to drop out or quit. So that's what keeps me going.
Speaking of, that was a good that was a good segue, Goose.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, the voice of the A7FL, Mr. Matt Ryan with the surprise appearance. What's up, Matt?
Hello, first time listener, last time caller.
First time. You said first time listener, last time caller.
Yeah, and it sounds like someone's echoing like a son bitch. That's our job. Our job is to get the audio wrong.
Hold on, let me see.
It's definitely your earphones because you're on your phone. You didn't link them up to your earphones. You pulled the Cory Hammond too.
No, I can hear you through my headphones.
Oh no, you're good now.
Yeah.
I think that feedback might have been coming from Goose's end.
All right, I'm gonna blame Country K though.
Yep, he's been muted this whole time, so he doesn't get to. Matt, how's it going?
I'm surprised. I told Goose that when he comes up, there it is. What did I tell you, Goose? Look at Country K's picture. I literally introduced Country K as, well, when you go on a show, you're going to see the little cutout because he usually doesn't do his face, and it's going to be the stairs motherfuckerly Samuel Jackson. And there it is. Country K. Look, Country K is the MVP of the show. Fully muted, late, boom. And Matt Ryan jumped in for a guest appearance.
I'm walking home from record store day. Cory tells me he's on another podcast. I feel a certain kind of way and feel like I've got to jump on.
Oh shit!
Oh,
no, it's not like that, man.
We've been trying to get you on for a minute, man. I know.
I'm kidding. I'm
not in the host seat.
So it's all good.
I wanted to feel pretty today, so I decided to hop on and go in front of my adoring audience.
By the way, I'm going to be getting the Thick Boy Season shirt with your face and everything on it because
what color?
That was by far the funniest one that I saw out of the whole thing, especially with the eyebrow raise and all.
It's nothing like Howard Cosell didn't have to put up with any of this shit. Joe Buck doesn't have T-shirts with his face on it.
I don't know. Muhammad Ali pulled off Howard Cosell's toupee.
True. This hair's all real, so.
At least I haven't done this to your neck or some shit.
Yeah.
We're assholes. I am an asshole enough though. So you made the Howard Cosell thing start. Maybe we'll work something in. I don't know. But you got a thick head of hair, man. That's never fake.
It's voluminous.
Mine. I have to take shit, but my hairline is sus sometimes. Well, let's put this
every
up.
kid you have, your hairline goes back a quarter of an inch.
Oh yeah, that's right. Well, I mean, my head is huge because of my ego, so I just had to cover it with as much hair as possible.
So you won't start looking like a founding father until what? 3-4 more kids?
I mean, let's see. Well, we're into the thousands now, so I don't think at this point I'm gonna look any older because I just look more and more distinguished. So founding father, I don't think yet, but to be fair, they wore those white wigs. So if I put the wig on, I would be singing Hamilton right now. Wait for it. Just wait for it.
Oh.
That's a good reference, right?
It is. I'll give you it.
Yeah.
I'll give you that one.
Matt, how stressful has the year been for you so far?
It's, to be completely honest, working in live television, no matter what, is stressful. So you kind of just lean into the skid. That's all you really can do. You can prepare, as soon as I get back from my record shopping, I'm going to be writing and producing the pregame shows for tomorrow. And doing my stats and my notes and everything, best laid plans are best laid plans. You can't really, the live TV gods are a fickle bunch and a scurrilous group. So you do your best to honor them the same way that the players try to honor the football gods.
Yeah, the live TV gods are definitely Greek because they be
Yeah.
fucking with you.
Yeah.
They be looking down on mortals and they be like, "Yo, I'm fucking with them."
Matt, we've been talking about, obviously with Goose and Corey on here, being able to talk about the Omegas and stuff like that. From your perspective on the team, what is it about the Omegas that, at least for you, could improve, and what about the team has been something that impressed you about the Omegas?
The grit and the competitiveness. Like, these guys are walking into situations where they're playing teams that have played with and against each other for, if not over, around a decade. So when you're walking into the toughest division in the Eastern Conference and in the league, because I look at the Northeast the same way the NFC North and the NFC East are. Every game they play against each other is a playoff game. So the Omegas are going in there, a new team, a team that's trying to build off of component parts, which isn't a negative. It's just the situation they're in. And that's kind of endemic of most expansion teams. The thing that's benefited the Chaos is great coaching and great recruiting in a football haven. They have Kentucky and Cincinnati to work off of. Boston is a burgeoning market. And this is a test case to just show how good players from Boston can be and the sustainability of a division out there. Goose is a top flight player. He can hang with a lot of the players in our division in the Northeast. And Corey's a great leader. The thing that they need is what most teams in the A7FL need: offensive line play. Offensive line play and a better understanding of how the offenses in this league are like a chameleon. We're going to see it tomorrow with the U, 4 o'clock on A7FL.tv and internationally on DAZN. The U offense is going to be different than what we saw last week against the BIC. So it's about trying to keep pace with a team that has so many weapons.
Right.
And going up against the BIC tomorrow, the Omegas can find some ways to exploit that. We saw some holes in the BIC. The BIC are the favorite. They're the heavy favorite, especially coming off of a loss. But they're not going to take kindly to that. But
No, it's going to be a very pissed off, and I told Corey and Goose this, going into a game against a pissed off BIC team, how do you prepare for a team that, one, they haven't lost in a long time, and seeing especially Ashanti Worthy's reaction after the game, how upset that, that's going to spill over into this game.
Yeah,
how do you
honestly,
kind of brace
for the coin
for that?
toss, try to get the ball, because if we have to throw it off to him in the first play.
Yeah, that's going to be a statement.
And to be honest, Goose, honestly, and I love my team, and we're going to go out there and fight. If that is the situation and you're out there, I love you, bro.
Business decision.
No. He's not going to make a business decision. I'm just saying, whatever the situation is, Goose is going to go out there and try to get that motherfucker down. It's not impossible. We've seen it happen. It's just very, very, very difficult. And either way, I support the effort in advance. Now, I will ask all of you if it would be advised or advised against for me if I throw a touchdown pass early in the game to do the BIC fist.
No, don't do that.
Stop.
Why would you do that?
See, why
would you be that stupid?
Because first of all, what was my name out in Vegas?
Stupid?
Yeah, and might as well have been.
Endeavor
Pendejo. That was your name. Pendejo.
Listen, I don't speak Spanish, but I appreciate the compliment. As long as you don't talk about my culo. Like, a lot of people talk about my culo. I feel like that's weird. I don't know what it means.
You know exactly what the fuck it means.
But I just get uncomfortable.
Damn it, Corey.
El Mucho Gringo. But
C.
Yes.
so no fist.
No fist.
No, because
Don't do that.
you're gonna cause a chain reaction in an already pissed off team. I don't know, you don't have the numbers to deal with what could possibly happen. The
Yeah,
anger
look,
that
Goose
gets
says you
taken
got
out.
him. I got Goose.
You,
Now, I will say this: when we talked, this is an interesting topic, I guess. When we talked to Ryan Shamar on the 3-on-1 podcast, just released yesterday, great interview with him. He had a lot of great things to bring up that we appreciated, me and Matt specifically. But he was talking about that BIC is going to kill me today, and I, wondered aloud. I was watching it today. He talked about it yesterday. I watched it today. It's really
the game's tomorrow.
I know,
What
but
kind of time space continuum bullshit are you on?
I was thinking harder about the veiled diss that I just threw out there into the ether that only me and Matt know about, and trying to keep it like specific enough but vague enough that I missed the actual conversation afterwards. But people try to kill me regardless. And as I adjust my hat so we can see the B because it's important. I don't think any more or less that I do instigates them, but I think with BIC doing the fist, maybe it would. But me and Goose are prepared to give their defense a lot to handle, and I can't speak for what he's going to have to deal with when he's on the defensive side of the ball. But if you see me out there, I don't on defense. I don't know if things are going as we expected. Still,
I would say you're gonna make.
You're still muted, Goose. Yeah, it's been a struggle.
Hold on. Wait. Boom. There he goes.
I think the more and more as we play on, and we dial it, they know what's going to come. They know the route I'm going to run. They just have to be able to stop it at that point. Everybody knows in the world I'm going to run a 5-yard hitch. You have to be able to, one, stop the catch, which is not going to happen because I don't drop anything. Two, you have to break down and make that tackle. Reinforcements will come, but I'm guaranteed to get them 5. It's going to be minimum 5 yards to like you've seen it, 60 yards. I think the first catch I made that game went off for 67 yards.
It was 3rd and 8. We would run a 5-yard route. Guy jumped it, couldn't bring you down, almost scored.
And like I say, that DC, now may I just say that DC heat, I was not ready for it. Man, it was humid out there. I told Corey after the pass, I'm sorry, I wanted to get caught. I wanted
to get caught. I was like, listen, man, you got it that far. I threw a 5-yard pass. You don't have to apologize for 50 yards after the catch, my guy. I will take that any day. So, I mean, what I tell the guys is that the process for an expansion team in the toughest division in the A7FL, we have a guy that is posting like pictures of rings and stuff and thinking like that motivational type of thing is, but it's not. The grind is what gets you to where you need to be in a professional league. And the fact is that Goose, you tell me, that first drive the Animals had and their blockers were coming to try to murder people. And do you remember what I said when they scored the first touchdown?
Don't worry about it.
Welcome to the A7, boys. Because it isn't something that I think that you guys were, not that you were scared of or shy away from.
It was definitely a new feeling, seeing somebody.
It was something I don't know if you expected immediately to be like that, like right away.
Yeah, and I definitely wasn't. It's just like I said, it's so like up pace, like it's like you got guys that have pads that aren't scared to hit, but it's like these guys got no pads on. And they're ready to take my head off. And it's like,
well, and they also are experienced in the ways that you need to do the takedowns in this league. So they're doing it at a full speed because of the amount of reps that they have and the muscle memory they have to do it correctly and safely. And I'll ask you this.
When I play semi-pro, like when I play safety every now and then when I do, I'm always looking for the boomstick. I'm not really able to do that in this league. And if I do if I catch Hollywood, going across the middle and I try to lay him out, 9 out of 10, he's going to shake me off and run. So I have to, and I struggle with secure tackling. That's my thing. Wrap up, I only got one thing. That's the hit stick. If you get past that, then hey, I guess you earned it,
It definitely and that's one thing that we've talked about that's such a difference about this league. Yeah, when you're in semi-pro, you're fully padded up. oh yeah, I'm a human torpedo. I'm going straight through your chest.
Yeah.
As a defender in this league, you do that, you may end up paralyzed. So you definitely have to look at it in a very different form because one, not just for yourself, but I mean, yeah, you want to tap, but you don't always, you don't ever intentionally want to actually hurt somebody. It's just the name of the game, you know. So this, well, some people have different motives in different situations. I
Some
I
understand.
people's
honestly think me and
faces
Corey,
motivate
like
guys
I
differently.
think they signed me and Corey up, and it's like, hey, let's hurt these guys. A few of
I
the
think the
Watchmen.
only reason Corey gets any of his flack is because of all the shit that he's talked over the years. That's really, it's just all of it coming back to hit him in
they
the
were
ass.
crushed. Like, look at some of the Big Mo Ramadan highlights. They were crushing me well before I was in the booth. I was talking to
How
shit
much?
at the line though.
Well,
I
that's what I'm
was.
saying. I'm like, what did you do to initiate that sort of punishment?
You know, but I do that weird thing sometimes because when I've always found myself in a situation where I'm kind of like punching up. I there was the 2 years that I had with BIC, which was a long story, but when you're in that position, the best way to piss off a defensive end that tried to kill you is to pop back up and smile in his face and act like you're having fun. So I don't know if that was just I don't know if that part of my game was just kind of like a tick that like a Tourette's tick that I developed through my game from all the constant beatings. But I will say that, the only thing that I can control, on a play-to-play basis is if I do get messed up on a play, regardless of the apparent injury or the pain or the the non-functional limb, I guess, I can get up, and my kids watch me play football. I coach youth. I live in 2023. Like, you're in life, in football, in relationships, in families, and everything. You're going to get knocked down.
Yeah.
I think it says a lot about any type of person, especially the Boston Omegas and my guys. When you do get knocked down, if you get knocked down like we do sometimes in games 80 times, if you get back up the 81st time or the 80th time and you're ready to get back up the 81st time, I think that says a lot more about a guy than for instance, I don't know, guys that were sharing time playing against us with 7 or 8 or 9 seconds to throw the ball, who are well regarded in this league as top QBs that, X, correct me if I'm wrong, we're missing throws, wide open guys down the field, first and second down, and would only then just scramble to get the third down against the Omegas. I would argue Goose back there, with the amount of time that the Watchman had, he's completing some of those passes that guys that have really high reputations in our league, because I guess they weren't taking it seriously. I'd rather have the guys on my team that when they get knocked down, they get back up, than the guys that are standing over somebody that somebody else knocked down and smiling and laughing about it.
And I think, honestly, the beginning of the game with the Watchmen, every team usually comes at me since week one, obviously. But, me and Corey, I feel like we put out the same output, but we handle situations different. He's more the cocky. I'm just here to play football, smile, and just keep on going.
It makes sense.
A lot of the things I get complimented on after the game, before the game, is, Dan, you shit on us and you didn't speak not once.
The silent assassin is always the one to look out for.
I'm just here to play football, honestly. My job is, I look good if my quarterback looks good. So I try to make him. I told him since the beginning of the season, I want you in the top 3 category.
Well, I got one supporter here. Matt supports me. I don't know if he put me in the top 3 because he has analytic credibility that he has.
That also comes back down to, one, we're in the toughest division.
Yeah.
The toughest division. 2, we don't really have the weapons to compete with these other teams because we're too busy putting them in places. We just opened up a puzzle box and we're trying to fit pieces where they should be and where they're supposed to be. A lot of us are out of position. A lot of us, not
like you got, like I said, Terry. He's supposed to be a tight end, but he's playing center. You know, we had Samuel. He was a receiver playing guard. When we have situations like that, and Corey's still able to take those hits and deliver those passes to me, or deliver those passes to Euro or Steve, you know, it's
Well,
we don't have
I
a
think
line. So
at this point, it's not so much of a matter of we're still trying to find where people can go. I think you know where people fit. You just don't have the numbers to be able to fill those pieces out to have. So it's like the talent is there. It's just
yes,
like Matt said, the growing pains of a new, expansion team, are going to be felt. But it's just the fact that you guys as a first year team continue to put up a fight regardless of the outcome of the game. It says a lot about you guys and a lot of positive about you guys.
And if
Matt,
you guys don't mind, there's some kind of murder or crime scene happening in my house right now. So as my wife is with my daughter at competition, this is why I prefer the old.
Just go be a dad, Corey. Go be a dad.
I'll be right back.
Matt, when you watch Corey, and I've heard, especially the times that he's gotten hit, I've heard you over that is my friend. That is my friend. How cringeworthy is it to see a good friend of yours, a colleague in the booth and everything else like that, get on the field and just get destroyed, but constantly get back up? Like, what are your opinions about Corey?
Well, Corey, for those who don't know, it's I'm Corey and I and Rob, and I'll say this about our entire production team, including the Soberman brothers and Zach Morgan. Like, we're all actual friends. Like, me, Corey, and Rob talk every day outside of the podcast and outside of the booth in the studio. So, yeah, he is my friend. He is someone that I care about greatly. But as someone who's worked in wrestling for the past decade and has friends who go in the ring, I've seen people get hurt. I've seen one of my closest friends break his leg right in front of me. So it's not fun, not great, but that's the decision my friend has made. I'm going to support my friend. As long as my friend's able to play, as long as my friend wants to play, I'm going to support him. Would I prefer him in the booth, sitting next to me and Rob? Yes, because it's also, but that's for a very selfish reason. It's because I think me, Rob, and Corey, when we're together and we're in the mix, we're one of the best commentary teams in sports because we have a natural chemistry. We have a natural rhythm with one another. And it feels like you're watching a game with some friends of yours, which I think is the ideal way to watch modern sports.
Yeah.
Because the audience has changed. Our audience is younger than the NFL. It's less institutional than the NFL. So we have to do things that attract people who are younger than me, younger than this, the people on this call right now, because how they view sports and how they view media is completely different than how we took it in growing up, especially with sports. So having that element of Corey in the booth makes it more dynamic, adds another layer to it, and gives us an on-camera heel that you kind of need when you're doing stuff like this. I get shit on a fair amount. If you read our YouTube comments,
hold on. The #1 selling visual on our tinyurl.com/A7FL merch. That's tinyurl.com/A7FL. Not like this tiny person here being a jerk when he's supposed to be napping. But Matt, your image is oh my God, your image is a top selling image. Don't sell yourself short. You should have seen him on 3-on-1. He had that button up down 4 buttons, man. Let's go. All right, I'm really struggling with this monster here.
Go be a dad, you dumbass.
Can't wait to listen back to this. These are two of my guys giving me actual love. Man, I've been getting my ass beat. Love you guys.
But again, like I really do kind of, and I've told Corey this, and when we talk to Rob and everything, I do appreciate, like, you can and definitely see that camaraderie between the three of you. It definitely does bring that general like different aspect to the game, which is highly entertaining. If anybody ever gets a chance, Goose, I don't know, do you ever watch back like after the games? Do you ever go back on YouTube and try to watch the game with the
Honestly,
commentary, or
to be real, my teammates do it for me. Like to get far more fun on my team. My team as they're some of the funnest guys. That's why like I compete every day with them. You know, battle with them. They're just the jokes they give me. They kind of embarrass me sometimes. You know, like I'll go on my my phone and relax. You know, after you know an ass whooping, I'll go back and relax. And all I hear is them replaying my plays over and over and over. You know, since game one, it's since Ryan's been calling my name, Goose this, Goose that. Like, you guys have to stop talking to me so much. You know, talking about me so much, and give my teammates some other credit. My coach said something funny. It was hilarious, and it's my girlfriend was with me at the time. He said, the Omegas, we need to change his Goose's the logo and put it as Goose and call us the Gooses. And my coach made a funny comment, was like, Omega, I am the Omega. So I have a bunch of, you know, supporting teammates to where, you know, they're putting me also on this pedestal. And I'm trying my hardest, you know, to also give them their credit and give them their flowers, because, like I said, I do things. Yes, it shows up on the stat sheet, but you also have to look at, you know, Terry blocking, you know, Bradley selling the fake, Euro taking the extra defender away from me, you know, Steve running the slant across the middle, you know, which sticks the linebacker. That's briefly one-on-one with the DB. You know, everybody does their job, you know, to let me shine, and anybody can be in this position. You know, it could be vice versa.
Yeah.
You know, I could be the decoy for Euro, or I could be the decoy for Steve. You know, we have a lot of talent that just doesn't get recognized because, like I said, Cory does favor me. Everybody does know that, but there's also other guys in the team that can't step up. You know, but they're, like I said, we argue in the huddle. With me and Euro, we go back and forth like, yo, you take this. No, you take this. No, you take this ball. Take it. It's yours. And 9 out of 10 Euro wins, and I have to take the ball. But, you know, just to support, you know, there's no selfish people. Our core that we have is very unselfish. You know, we like everybody to eat. You know, I found out since game one, every time I catch the ball and pitch it back, I don't get the reception. So Steve has like 8 receptions, you know, and I have no problem doing it. You know, whatever helps us win and helps the Omegas look good, then I'm all for it. You know, like I said, it's a blessing to be the face of this, you know, organization, and to even make it this far to being one of the faces on here. Thank you for putting me on your show. Being on here and getting the recognition. So I'll use myself as a platform for my teammates and my guys to get the recognition they should. You know, like I said, everybody does their part, and I'm just, you know, the one that's able to get the shine.
Well, think of it this way. Think of it a little bit more outside of just the statistical showmanship, I guess, of the whole thing, because people fall in love with the stats and everything else like that. We're looking at it in a different way in the leadership aspect of it. We look at it as like, yeah, he's putting up the stats, but he's also because what you just did right there, that humbleness that you show, it signifies that you're the leader of the team. You have the understand, or at least one of the leaders of the team. I'll just say it that way, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But you need to understand that what you're doing right there rubs off on the guys, and that's a beautiful foundational piece to have for a growing, you know, franchise, essentially, you know, a new franchise that's coming in. So to have that, please keep that, because it could very much go the other way. You've seen plenty of other times people just give up, but you guys seem to be trusting the process. So
absolutely.
that's going to be the foundation for you guys to really actually start making some legitimate noise in the league. And these trial by fire games, that's only going to make you guys better, honestly.
Absolutely.
You know, so
hey guys, I'm gonna hop, but great talking with you. Goose, keep doing what you're doing, man. Just keep doing what you're doing.
Matt, appreciate you for the surprise showing, my friend. Got to have you on again soon.
Yeah, if my schedule's not a tire fire, we'll dance again. Have a great day, everybody. See you on Sunday.
See you, man.
You too.
Like I said,
Great Matt Ryan.
It's like I said, my teammates are so supportive of me. I try my best to give them their flowers. You know, there's things that, like I said, that you do that you don't see and that don't show up on the stat sheet. The leadership of Cory, you know, he's that head guy. You know, I mean, if it wasn't really for him, you know, and leading us and calming us down, because sometimes we do. You guys don't see it. You know, I try my best to. We, us Boston guys, have a bad rep of, you know, being hostile towards each other. But it's out of love, though. You know, it's. I know you can do better.
Right.
You know, like you're not giving me 100%. I know you're not. You know,
Right.
There's been times where, you know, Terry's even pulled me aside and be like, "Hey, Goose, you know, I know you can do better." And it's like, "Yeah, no, I got you. I'm being lazy. I got you. I got you next play." And the trust that we have in each other, you know, I trust those boys, you know, with my life. I don't really trust a lot of guys, you know, but also me being one of the youngest ones in the league, you know, one of the youngest guys, and the respect I get from them, and you know, them allowing me to, you know, he phrased it as like Mufasa, you know, holding up his son, you know, in Lion King, is, you know, them giving me that passageway and that respect at you know, such an early age in my career for this league, and also getting respect from the other guys, you know, across the league, like Matt Ryan said and Cory said, like Big Rob said, everybody knows me by now. I received one of the biggest compliments I thought, honestly, so far. Was in Snow Tribe. Big Rob said, if I keep it up, you know, I'm looking at the future right now, the future of this league, if you keep on battling. And that was just a really big compliment. Like I said, I'm humble, so, you know, I was like, hey, you know, I wouldn't go that far.
Well, I mean, okay, so that's one of those things. It's like, you don't have to say it; we'll say it for you. Okay.
Yes.
We'll say it for you, because it is very much that. Because you got to think about it this way: a lot of the guys that are well known in this league right now been there since, you know, from the very beginning, from the Town Beef days, from all of that. So when they're talking about the future, it very much is that way, because this league is still growing. You know, there's gonna be more divisions in the next, you know, 2 to 3 years.
Absolutely.
We're counting, you know, Northern California, where we're at here in Sacramento, it's gonna be here soon. We're trying to get teams out here to do that. I know with Derek Duncan out in Nevada and stuff like that, that's a big goal of his, to have it over here in Northern California as well. You know, the Reno areas, you know, just covering the West Coast. And I know the East Coast, it's growing even more. The Ohio area, you guys are, I don't doubt in my mind. And Rob, when Big Rob was on, when we had him on, he didn't want to say it because he knows. And, you know, as being a Boston guy, you can take this however way you want, but as soon as Texas starts getting involved, things are going to be changing out in the whole concept of the league.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you're part of that slow growth, those guys are going to look to you. It's almost that passing of the torch thing.
Yes.
You know,
yes.
you guys are that. You and a few of the other rookies and, you know, second year guys. You know, you guys got guys like Verardi and stuff on the BIC. You know, just as an example, of that new generational foundation of what's going to launch this league. Like Cory and Big Rob and Huff and everybody like that, they set the pieces in motion, got the recognition, and now you guys are what's going to throw it over the top. That, you know, get to that. Hopefully there's no peak, because you always want to kind of keep going. You want to keep improving.
Huff is that guy
but
as well, man. He's that guy. Huff
he's
is,
an
Huff is
I'm sure I don't necessarily know him as a person. He just you know, accepted the friend request and everything on Facebook. Shout out to Huff. You know, maybe we can have him on the show at some point. But knowing, at least from what I've heard people talk about him, and especially the decision that he made to go to what was then a very struggling Animals team and help turn it around like that, just to be like, oh, I'm going to actually take my skills to another team and help this team improve, that selflessness of it. That shows me a lot of his character already, and I haven't even met the guy. You know, and then obviously hearing about and seeing what he's done on the field speaks, you know, for itself. So to say you have a lot of these examples for you guys to learn about the foundation of the league, but then you guys take that information, tweak it, make it your own, and then keep
Sell
going.
it,
So
ship it.
so
Yeah.
so when they say you're one of those foundational pieces, it's not just for the franchise. They're talking about the whole idea of when people look at the A7FL, who are who the Hall of Fame guys are,
Yes.
who are now that next crop. You know how they talk about like Mahomes and Allen and all, like in the NFL and everything. Now they have that group of generational talent, young guys now. You could be a part of that pillar. The four pillars, definitely of the Omegas.
Mm-hmm.
But when we're talking about the league, you can be up in that upper echelon because it's there. The leadership's there. The talent is there. You're going to be humble. I understand that completely.
Yeah.
I get that mindset. And it goes to the team, and that's why they love you, and that's why they put you on a pedestal, because you have that selfless attitude.
Yeah, and you know why
towards
else? As I just jump right back in here, but stay off camera just in case there's any more shenanigans. In my opinion, why I feel like Goose's future is extremely bright for this league is because to have the type of dedication to the sport and the league and deal with the adversity that he's facing now, that builds a type of character that you look to. And when you look at the greatest in our league, there's a ton of guys that flash in the pan. There's a ton of guys that have success. There's a lot of guys that score touchdowns, that have 100-yard receiving games. The reason Ashanti Worthy for me sticks out week in and week out, obviously, is his extreme athleticism, his amazing balance, and this elite level of open field, evasiveness that I feel like is unmatched in almost any league but the NFL. And I would even say that if you put pads on him and did the 3-on-1 with NFL guys, that he would still break a couple free here and there.
Yeah.
But what sells it for Ashanti Worthy being one of the all-time great players moving forward, and a quality that I see in Goose, is that when the chips are down, and for the Omegas, they so often are, unfortunately, Goose, we're getting there. But when the chips are down, there's dudes on all of these teams' sidelines, and no disrespect to any of them, but when the chips are down, there's certain dudes that are in the game. There's certain dudes that are saying, give me the ball. And there's certain dudes that take the responsibility of success on their shoulders directly. A lot of guys will have success, but they're basically riding other people. And that is what it is, right? If I had great offensive lines throughout my career, I'd be riding that success and saying that I'm better than I probably am. But the fact is that when you got a guy that's be able to produce when he's double covered, triple covered, when everybody in the stadium, including the quarterback, got you, my guy, knows where the ball's going pre-snap, and he's still at times able to make a man miss, make an impact play, give people to work, that you have to really come with it in A7FL. Pause, I guess.
Yeah.
Rob might actually make an appearance after that just to say pause. We had Matt on before. I wish I could have got the rest of it. I'll be on Twitter watching his back. Faux show. But
I was about to say,
my guy Goose,
has he put in the word for us to get on the 3-on-1 with y'all?
who, Rob?
Yeah.
Or Matt?
Rob.
I mean, Rob is kind of like the I don't know. I was gonna say thief in the night. He's not stealing nothing. That would be wrong to say. But he's taking care of business, kind of like on the low, like moving in and out, even in the group chat. So, like while we were on the show,
we need to have him on again, because the last time we had him on, he had a lot of really good stuff. So
yeah, Rob always has good stuff, and I think what's interesting about Rob is he has a different perspective about a lot of things, because in Rob's career, he did start at the bottom, but he spent a lot more time at the top than I did. So when he looks at the league, he kind of looks at it almost from a top down. I look at it from a bottom up, right? But he's the first one that got in Goose's ear and gave him the blueprint of how to make Boston successful. Goose took it seriously, and he's already starting the recruiting process because the numbers is what Boston is suffering from, not the talent. So,
right.
you know,
And that I think is one of the, if you guys get, I shouldn't say if, it's a win at this point. When that gets to the point where you guys have the numbers to start, you know, really kind of competing to be able to make the name for you guys selves in the league, I don't doubt at all, you know, yeah, it's going to be a process, but I don't doubt at all that you guys become one of those, you know, the new expansion team that actually made it, that actually stuck with it. And Cory, you can maybe attest to this a little bit better, but I'm not sure how many expansion teams there has attempted to be, and they were around for a little bit. Things didn't work out, and they just disbanded. I don't see that
so many
for the Omegas.
So many. If you look at the list of champions in the A7FL, there's teams that have won championships that haven't been able to last, you know, into the A7 era. You know, we talk on the 3-on-1 about the history of the league, and we'll mention teams like the Savage.
Yep.
They don't exist anymore. They were a founding team. And we talk about how two of their main players, the Bell brothers, Ole Bell and Q Bell for now BIC, they were you guys saw the offensive line for the U, right? You watched the game, right? Yep. Those two guys that anchored the line with number 76 were the Miller brothers. They're Savage guys. So there's been so many more teams that have tried and failed than actually stick around for the long haul. For every BIC and U, there's 10 Predators, the Pink Panthers, the Bulldogs. Just if you look at, there was a whole division in Pennsylvania that doesn't even exist anymore. And it just goes to show you, A, that the grind of the A7 will get to you, but B, you got to give credit to guys like Carl Meisner and Ken Stansberry from BIC and Ryan Shamar from the U, because the hardest thing is not to have a core guys that succeed. It's when that core ages themselves out of a professional league to reload. And what happens is most of the teams in our league are a group of guys, and when that group of guys is done, they are, as an organization, what Xavier over here is doing for the Boston division is kind of laying down the foundation for what will be multiple teams able to play 30 minutes from their house. And, you know, I in my talks with Denzel, he's motivated to do all the Derek Duncan things that he can in the Boston market. Now, Derek's in the City of Lights in the Sin City, so he's been able to fast track that type of thing with a couple of things like that. But Boston has a thirst for sports, and they have a thirst for toughness. And I don't know if they're going to like our record at the end of the year, but I think they would like the grit that this team has, and they'd like as a Red Sox fan growing up in the early 2000s in New Jersey, the reason I was a Red Sox fan is because they were the eternal underdog against the favorite Yankees. And that's just kind of who I've always been. And getting an opportunity to play for the city that I've rooted for and with a group of guys that embody the heart of that city, it's one of the biggest honors in my professional career as a football player.
And that's saying a lot. And there are actually a lot of, I guess, parallels that you can put to it, because again, it is something that I feel like this league has been able to do every place that it's gone, is build that sense of community within the teams, within the divisions, and everything else like that.
And there are also a lot of Boston area kids, younger than me, watch our league. I came back home. I think it was last Saturday on a Monday, and it was like, "You're that Goose guy," and I was like, "Wow, it's a new feeling." So
that never happened with semi-pro, did it?
No, I feel like I've done way more in semi than I have. But like I said, the expansion, man, the expansion. I think this league will be around a very, very long time, and hopefully, Boston Omegas will be around for a long time as well.
Yeah, no, I mean, and the league has, I mean, to its credit, been around for a long time. It's just the exposure has been going up just recently, the last couple of years.
Shout
But
out
I
to the
think
All-Pro JAFFOs and the All-Pro JAFFO Army.
I mean, we saw something that we liked, and we're that type of group that we want to showcase a lot of the things that people are not. I mean, anybody can talk the big three. Anybody can talk football. Anybody can talk basketball. Anybody can talk baseball. But we're trying to bring out more than that. And with you guys, it was such an interesting concept because it is that turkey bowl feeling that, all of us did as a kid, tackle the carrier and everybody else. Obviously, it was by different names that we probably shouldn't be using right now, obviously. But but we all had that, elementary school, recess style, everybody. So it brings that sense of almost your childhood back.
Yes.
But then, like you said, you're bringing it to communities and stuff like that that can relate to this.
Well, my childhood,
Like they're in Boston, like
yeah.
I'm sure, people all over the place, the turkey bowls, things like that. This type of stuff is something that everyone can relate to. And you guys are bringing that there. That's you'll probably add, Corey, I'm thinking A7FL Boston teams, you'll probably have 4 by the end of next year.
And there's 4 names already in. And I gotta say, the Omegas was the best one, and I'm glad to be an Omega. But I don't know if X, you've seen that Red Claws?
That I was looking at it. I contacted Denzel, and I was like, "Man, are you serious? You serious, man? Come on, you could have got us some, some Red Claws, but
right. I don't want to talk down on the Omegas. I think it's like a Greek thing, and I like it. I always say it's the purple moon night. Look at the logo.
Like I think, in my opinion, it's so hard to find drip, man. Like it's
you
guys got the color scheme down. I like the purple. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, my wife got me the headband, but she got me the headband that's purple, and then she keeps telling me to cut my hair, and I'm like, nah, it doesn't work that way.
You guys might want to switch it up and go with like the black pants instead of
honestly, I told him that. I told him I was like probably have a Baltimore version purple, a Ravens version purple. I think that would look very well. But like I said, we're a first-year team. Let's worry about winning before we worry about
See, he brings it back to the right way. But I will say, to go back in the wrong direction, because I sometimes play.
Here we go. You always do that, though.
As great as that Red Claws other team was, I will say to Denzel that as mean as the bean looks, wait till you see the bean logo. It's what are they called? They're the Beantown.
Beantown.
Yeah, the Beantown boy or something.
And I heard you guys talking about that. Yeah.
Yeah, Denzel was talking about it's a mean bean, and I'm like, look, man, Rob's about to make a X-rated joke or something. Like we can't be talking about beans.
When I hear that name, when I hear that team, no disrespect, I don't know who's going to be on the team or anything. I'm thinking I'm having 40. With a team name like that, I'm going off of 40.
Yeah. Well, my what I told Denzel, and then he liked it. You're a Boston guy, so you have a better read on it than me. Now we have to involve a celebrity, so I don't know if it would work, but it would be the Boston Tea Party. And listen, the symbol is just a silhouette of Mr. T with a gold chain. No,
absolutely not. Absolutely not.
The Boston Tea Party. And
I heard you mention this on the 3-on-1, and I remember specifically being in my car going, Corey, just stop. Just stop. No, we're not.
It's a historical.
Now we're going too far.
No. I'm talking about one of the greatest personalities of all time.
Then we might as well do the what is it? The horses are coming. I don't know my history.
The British are coming.
Yes, the British are coming. Yes.
The
why would we do
Boston
that?
Reveres.
The Boston Reveres, yeah.
The Boston Reveres. Now that's now if you
The
wanted to do
historical concept, that wouldn't be bad, actually.
that's
I'm
that's
not
The
gonna
nice.
lie.
Boston
But I
Reveres,
like.
yeah.
What do you think, Country K? The Boston Tea Parties with the logo is literally Mr. T.
Either team name, the Tea Party or Reveres, is a 10-sack game.
It's a 10-sack game.
10-sack game.
What are you assuming that I'm on all of the Boston teams? Come on now.
I mean, at that point, I wouldn't even care who the quarterback was.
Yeah.
But if Mr. T was involved in the A7, like, and to put my kid to bed, I had to put on the old Blues Clues, right? Shout outs to all the blue dogs that helped raise myself and all my kids. That would be Bluey, Blues Clues, Chase from Paw Patrol, and my guy Snoop Dogg, who's also talks about our league.
You idiot. Oh yeah, I know. I've definitely seen that on the pod.
But if we got Mr. T involved in the league, and I pity the fool that played a tea party. What? You're gonna put up 10 sacks, or you gonna be like, yo, I'm getting Mr. T's autograph?
10. I'm talking about a strong 10. I'm getting out
10 and a half. You're gonna get 10 and a half. You're gonna do
I'm done.
You're gonna do the Reggie White pick up the offensive player, like throw Chris Carter into Randall Cunningham, the Reggie White, right? You're gonna get that half sack.
If y'all give Mr. T the microphone before the game or a bullhorn or whatever the fuck apparatus he would use,
he's old. He's gonna have
I would go for 10 sacks. He say that shit, 10 sacks. 10.
High 10.
High 10. I'm telling you, out third quarter. It's gonna be like 7 minutes left. I'm out. This shit is over.
Now, Goose, you can't see him, even though it's a beautiful picture there. And rest in peace to our guy there. But Country K is 6'10". Like, he could probably do what he's saying. And I jokingly reached out to Snow Tribe because they apparently are paying people that are getting them to a grand total of 1-6 by the end of the season. But if they're paying people, they might as well pay a 6'10" beast from the Southeast.
Yep.
And my last line to GM Anthony Richardson, Ant Live, was as a joke because I was doing a bit for your guys' show. I said, "Don't cut me," and I think he took that personally and made sure that he found a way.
You put it out there. You put it into his
Now,
mind.
to be fair, they called me back, as did the Renegades this past weekend, 4 times to play quarterback for them because there was this weird trade thing. And
the thing is too, honestly, with the league is just I don't want to put the Snow Tribe's business out there, so I'll be, very
nah, put it out there. We talking mad shit.
Do it.
Do it.
Oh, you guys are making me a
Be
villain already.
yourself.
You guys are making me a villain already. I've had a few teams recruit me. Snow Tribe, Renegades, a few other teams. Rob put the idea in the U. But like I said, I'm a Boston guy, regardless. But the loyalty in this league sometimes is it's a little bit wonky. Like I kept behind closed doors. I heard a rumor and did not like it at all about Cory. That he probably wasn't going to be my starting quarterback, and Goose would have not suited up this week. Goose would have been on the sideline supporting his guys, of course, but Goose would have not played. So, and I think a lot of our teammates support him, especially his wide receivers. It's our quarterback. We're going to defend him regardless, right or wrong. The amount of love and trust we have for Cory, we will sit before we let him, and that's the thing with loyalty. He's came in since game 1 and got destroyed, and gets up with a smile on his face and still delivers the ball and says, "Goose, you got the next one again. I'm going to you." And a Euro, and the loyalty that Cory has is what I love. Snow Tribe, I wouldn't go there. They even offered me number 1. I still wouldn't go there. It's a loyalty thing,
I mean,
they got a Buffalo Bill on their team talking to a guy from Boston, not realizing that's probably not going to work out.
Yeah. No.
I mean, you're gonna, especially with any sort of professional league, there's always going to be the free agencies and people wanting to do recruiting and everything. There's just, you're going to get more and more in that, especially as the name and everything like that continues to grow. But I think, going back to what we talked about when it comes to building a sort of culture and community there in Boston around this division, in these teams, it's going to take a lot of that, loyalty to the teams in order to kind of make them grow. I mean, yeah, you could probably, bring a few in from others, but the core group of guys that the people in that community are going to kind of come to know, they might be the reason why they come watch in the first place. Now to just see, they're gone. Okay, well, so the
to answer your
loyalty
question,
aspect
that's
of
what
it
happened to a lot of those teams that didn't make it. Is when you're building and when you're working from the bottom, there will be guys like Goose that'll pop out of the screen. And in this league, it's year to year. And according to some of the Baltimore teams down there, it's week to week. So, to have the level of dedication and loyalty and commitment, it's I talk to a guy in this league, and I won't say his name specifically just to kind of keep the anonymity there. But I talk to him pretty much like bi-weekly, just in general about A7, about everything going on. And he's he's a well-respected member of the league. He has a lot to say, and outcomes of what goes on year in, year out. And he's involved with the team, and he wants me to be a part of the organization he's with, and he's a great guy, and I love him and his organization. But what I told him is that, look, like, that's just not me. When I was Goose's age, or probably a little bit older, Goose, you're what, 24? Yeah, you're 20, right? You're fucking young as shit. You're almost half my age. Damn. But yeah, so when I was older than Goose, because when I came in the league, it was after my college football career, which wasn't productive or anything, but it had length. I was in college for 5 years, and I have junior credits. Don't tell any employer that I worked for.
Were you trying to pull a Van Wilder at that point?
Man,
get as much out of it as you could.
Until I had, my wife doesn't watch these. So until I had my kid, I basically was Van Wilder. And that's not something to brag about. But when I was young in this league, I joined the team, the Warriors, right? And one of my jerseys that eventually will go in a museum somewhere, because my wife is going to be like, get these the hell out of our house. On the back, it's the acronym WOE. And what we as a team back then, the Warriors, we were, a plucky, 500, maybe one game better. We made the playoffs every year, but our game plan was throw the ball every play and have fun, and allow quarterbacks to convert on third and fourth down by just running it, because everybody's covered, but nobody would ever guess that the running quarterback would take off. I have PTSD, but the WOE stood for Warriors Over Everything. And instead of putting my name on the back, I put the WOE, kind of be the mission statement for who I was as a player, who I represented for as a roster. And, we survived a good 4 seasons of really tough, mediocre seasons where we were 500, but, no team really was like excited to play us because we were a different style. And, a wide receiver still holds the record for most catches in a season, Keith, and his own nickname he gave himself. I was in the booth then. The God Morrison. You see how tall, Goose, you see how tall Country K is? He's tall.
Yeah, I just see that. Like, yo, damn.
That mountain is
came into the screen for a quick second. Yeah. You see it in there.
But he had 97 catches in a season. I think that's still the record. Now, we always trolled him. He didn't have any touchdowns that season. But that was the mindset that I entered this league with, is that I'm going to stay and grow with my guys. And even though I had other opportunities to maybe go up and maybe go elsewhere, I stayed with it. But the problem is that after those 4 seasons, then my team combined with the then Thrashers. We were the Purple City Warriors. And when teams combine, they either succeed or fold. And then when I was a free agent, then it's just been this mercenary thing, and it is what it is. I keep getting cut. That's why all the grays. But this Omegas thing in a situation where I just, like, a week before the season, I got cut by a team that I lost 40 pounds for. Like, I don't know if you see my thumb, but like, that's not supposed to be that swollen. That's my throwing thumb. Like, I made a lot of sacrifices coming into the season, and it was a downer, to be honest, to be cut from a ridiculous ass named Snow Tribe team that talked more about the jersey combinations that they would wear than the schemes that they would run. Idiots.
Jerseys are fresh though. Yes, jerseys are fresh.
I mean, if they had 4 options and they had the policy that they have to sign, I guess that would take up the bulk of the meetings. Not the offensive play calls that they obviously have forgot to talk about based on their output so far this season, and maybe why their quarterback quit, because whatever.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't know how I feel about that powder blue and orange combo. I don't know how I feel about it.
If I was wearing it, I'd be all for it. But since I'm petty and I'm pissed off, the point of my sob story is that coming into the season, I sacrifice a lot, and then to get cut right before the season, I'm facing my mortality as a player, right?
So then, Goose, knowing that.
But the Omegas gave me second life, and that was my point. I talk forever. Go ahead. Go.
Knowing, the story, like what happened with Cory, did you and the rest of the guys kind of take that as that's all right, now there's extra motivation to back him up because the team did him, to be honest, pretty dirty.
Well, it's not just me, too. There's other guys.
Me personally, I was kind of thrilled up until we signed Cory, and on that day, a few days before, Coach handed me the playbook, was like, "You're quarterback. You're gonna run this team. You're gonna." And I was like, "Fuck, I apologize. I don't really."
We've said much worse. Trust me.
I don't want to, run this scheme. I wanted a quarterback. My true position is receiver. So when we signed Cory, I was thrilled. Spoke with him briefly, about what he has and what he's accomplished, and I was like, what, this guy has a chip in his shoulder. I like guys that have chip on their shoulders. 9 out of 10, they're gonna prove themselves right. I think he had an excellent game against the Snow Tribe. Despite us losing, he played excellent. Not just because he threw me a touchdown, but he played excellent as in reading.
That is important though.
My first touchdown in the league, I got 2 touchdowns. The first touchdown in the league was a defensive touchdown. So,
bailed us out.
Which, by the way, I was like, oh. I was like, oh,
yeah,
okay.
It made your top 5, right?
Yeah. Well, I don't think did it.
I don't know. I remember seeing it a bunch of times. I was happy for my guys though. Me though. I wanted to be a part of the highlight, but I was happy.
I mean, the fact that you actually had a brief conversation with Cory is amazing all in itself. But
he's being nice.
But the fact that again, it was like a gravitational thing. It's like you all all have the chip on your shoulder. You all want Boston to do well, and then it's just one of those pieces that you put together, and it actually fits. It was shitty that he got cut, a week before the season and stuff like that. But in a way, it's a blessing in disguise, especially for the Omegas, because again, like we said before, you have a guy that has the experience in the league to help grow it.
He knows so much. He can look at a defense before the defense is even set, and he knows the guys that he's played against. And he knows their tendencies. I'm still learning them as well, but having Cory in my corner, and letting me know, like, hey, run your route a little bit shorter. Usually I run my slant. Honestly, on my curls, I don't even run my routes anymore. I kind of like, you do a little 2-step turnaround and the ball's right there. But that just comes to a lack of the line. I think once we get a line and we get Cory a line, there's no telling what we can accomplish.
And the big thing for me is that, like, getting cut from the Snow Tribe and not knowing in that like turbulent week where I was trying to figure out whether I was even going to play. Now being on a team that, yes, we're struggling, but we're also at the bottom building, right?
Right.
That's given me like a new life in this league that I was really kind of facing the real potential possibility that I was done and I was going to be sitting there. And Matt and Rob are kind of urging me to do that as soon as possible because they enjoy it. I enjoy it too. But I also think it would be unfair to the league, because I give them plenty of reasons to play against me. But I always wanted to make sure that I was a part of the play when we, and the term we use on the 3-on-1 is the solid gold boat. So the effort and all of the things that I put into being able to be the quarterback for the Snow Tribe, which they didn't appreciate. I mean, I've just listening to Goose tell me the things, and he shows me those things, right? Like, but it's cool to hear him. That's for me.
Feed the Cory Hammond ego much more, please.
Well, no, the player and the podcaster do have a different personality. I don't think when they listen to me on the podcast for the first time that they're ready for the intense spiciness of the shit that I give people. Yep. And I even went into it with Ryan Shamar for the U this specific weekend because I just couldn't help myself. But like I said, I even was on the phone with Kenny Stansbury this week, and now I wasn't stupid enough to fucking poke the bear.
Yeah.
But I'm not dumb either. I was trying to get to see if he would slip anything, and then he was trying to get to see if I would slip anything. But it just goes to show you that with the situation that we're in, it's the beginning of a process, and because I'm now in a new beginning, I'm actually thankful that everything broke the way that it did because A, I'm playing for Boston. B, I'm playing for guys that truly appreciate what I bring to the table, however limited that is in the running game. But it gives me the opportunity to really do the things that I was trying to do, but not necessarily maybe in the short term, but over the course of, the next couple of seasons. This could be a part of my career that redefines a lot of what has been said about me. Or it could just cement some of the other positive things that, we kind of, featured. But, I'm thankful for everything shaking out the way that it is, even if my wife is pissed off because she has to deal with me on a Monday.
Yeah, I'm sure she's getting a little tired. I mean, as much as we do joke about it, she probably does, get a little crack, a smile on her face every time you get hit. But I'm sure most of the time, she is, kind of tired of dealing with certain aspects of it, which is understood. But I mean, you still got the support and everything behind it. But when I look at it, and it really is a big testament, I guess, towards who you are, not just as a player, but as a person. You have a different outlook on it. You're not playing necessarily just for yourself. You're playing for the guys around you, and that speaks a lot of volumes. It really does. And again, as much shit as you talk here and on the 3-on-1 and with it, we know it's all in good fun, and we know that the spirit behind it is never necessarily personal or malicious, again depending on the situation at hand. But
for the things I say about the Snow Tribe, but pretty football, you know what I mean? So
right, but for the most part, that's what it is. But then you got to look at the realities of it and what you've been doing on the field with a young team like this. It's a hell of a thing to see, man. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm impressed by it.
That's one way to put it. Yeah, that's definitely one way to put it.
Yeah, I'm impressed by it. I really am, because it's not a lot of people are willing to go through a building process at this point. It is what it is. You're one of the older players, that've been around for a while. Most guys around this time are probably looking to be a part of a team to try to get that championship. And I know a championship is something that throughout your career that you've wanted, but in a sense, you've been willing to almost put your own ego of having a championship to the side in order to help the up and coming group.
Well, and to be fair, there's Country K. What up? But to be fair, man, there he is. There he's gone. There he is. There we go. Part of the reason, though, I think is it's funny that you say that like putting aside my ego. I think the other thing is that my ego also is not going to allow me to ride the coattails of others to that championship. Like if I were to say, I don't know, have joined, I had a similar dumb thing right before 2021 with a similar thing. What up, Goose? But if I were to join BIC in their run last year to the championship as Sterry's emergency backup, and I won a championship, I wouldn't claim that I won that championship. And to be fair, I wouldn't have ever made that decision unless it was like literally the only way I could be on a roster, I think. So, I mean, the championship is what every player and every sport is after.
Mm.
And, as a coach,
I wouldn't say every player.
Well, I guess that's true. Some guys are looking for attention and stats. But at least it's one of the goals. Right. Goose isn't playing for the Omegas, delusional to think that we're capable of winning the championship where we sit right now. But if we keep working, there's no reason that we can't, raise whatever ceiling is on us by the doing football the right way. And in my career, I've really just, I've done a lot of, little things that have, big mistakes that have helped me grow. And I feel like even though my body is in a position where at 36, I'm not in my physical prime, I did put more into this year.
You say Goose?
You're like 38. Stop lying.
I'm 36. April 9th was my birthday. My birthday present is that we had a week off from my beatdown. But I put more into this season, knowing that with the talent in the league growing exponentially year after year, the other divisions coming in here. I went out to Vegas and played against the Vegas guys. Again, they had a dream team, and I had a team of ragtag, throw-togethers. You gotta do the right things to get the. And as a coach, my son, I talk about it all the time. My son's got 2 championships, and I'm his coach. And the things that I was preaching to him, I wasn't even doing myself as an athlete. So I started doing those things. I'm starting to get there. And like I said, I got this new life with this new team and this new division. I got a new target, and I'm ready to rock. And BIC better watch out for that fist. I don't know if I'll throw it up, but I can't control myself.
Hey,
don't give them more fuel to the fire. Listen, let's just
They're
keep our head
already
down, do what we
pissed
can do.
off.
You guys should have encouraged me to do it because of my defiance. I'm just joking. I'm not gonna do it, Goose.
That
Honestly,
they're
they're
already mad enough as it is going into this.
Listen,
week,
if we
why
win
would
the
you want to
game,
do that?
if we win the game, I'm gonna stand on your shoulders. I'll take my cleats off, but I will stand on your shoulders, Goose, whether you're injured or not, and I will do the fist in their face if we win the game. Now we got a lot of work to do before that happens, but hopefully
Honestly,
Kenny Stanbury doesn't hear me say that.
Competing wise, I think we can compete with any team. My personal opinion, we've showed it against teams that were in the top 10 conversation right now. And up until, the Watchmen, I can't really use them as an example. They dominated us from the whistle. But Huff didn't really move the ball on us like that until, third, fourth drive.
Yeah.
When he started to figure us out. The first drive was a little bit easier for him, but they went a few drives to where it was third, fourth down conversions. So
yeah, we made them work.
We had some stops. I'm pretty sure we had some stops.
Yeah.
But
you get definitely been putting work and making them earn it. It's just after a while that competitiveness goes away because of the fatigue. That goes with it, with the amount of guys that you guys have or lack thereof. But like you said, yes, in that meantime, especially in the beginning stages, you guys have been competitive, and there's no denying that. So most of the flack I think that you guys are going to get as a team is going to be aimed towards that guy right there.
Yeah.
So not basically you guys as a team, it's mostly going to be aimed towards him. But the fact that you guys know
that's the job of a quarterback, really. I mean, good quarterbacks have been called great a lot, and they take that. And good quarterbacks have been called ass a lot, and they have to take that. And I think it's a great position for the Omegas in with what we got, that they can all figure it out. I'll take the arrows. I'll take the disses and all the negativity and all the Goose was saying it.
Boots in the ass for it.
And when we were playing a Watchman, they were focused on trying to kill me. As long as I get the ball to those guys, that extra attention might even work in our benefit. So, I mean, that's what I'm here for, man. I'd rather that. I will always rather that than sometimes what other guys might have done with the options that I have. I'm talking about the actual options that I have. Be a guy that's part of a team that is useful to a team but isn't very valued, as opposed to a guy that's in there living and dying every play. And hey, so that everybody else can be better, I'll take some of the, to quote The Wire, when my guy Littlefinger's the mayor, sometimes you got to eat some shit, and I guess that's my job. So call me.
That's what makes Cory one of the best leading quarterbacks. That's what makes him, so great. Is
there's a lot of selflessness to the chaos that is Cory Hammond.
I think Cory's only seen me catch the ball on my 20 receptions or so. I think he's only seen me catch the ball maybe twice or once.
The rest of the time, he's seeing the lights above.
And like I said, my teammates make a joke about it. It's I don't know if you ever heard of the bird box or whatever. The blind with the blind. Yeah. My coach was like, he was like, F it, Goose is back there somewhere, and that's what Cory kind of plays like. But it's like that's it. Come down to the line. Once Cory gets a line, it's over. Then he can actually start reading, because I think like Cory, and also said it earlier in the show, he also definitely does pre-snap. All right, he's lining a few yards off of Goose. I'm just going to throw it to Goose. I think if Cory has more time, he's able to also look at, Euro's eating. Euro's open a lot of the times when I'm double or triple covered, and Euro's still open. Yeah. I just think it's just a trust level. Cory was like forced to trust me. He threw me a few passes in the first game, and caught every single one of them. I think I've only dropped one pass. I have more tackles than I do drop passes. So I think if Cory gets one more lineman, I don't think he needs all, the whole. I think he just gets one more to protect that blind spot. He'd be more comfortable going back to that back slot, that back screen or that back slant. A lot of Euro pushes me away from him to get on Cory's right side so he can be able to see me. But like I said, if he gets a line, Cory and Euro and Steve, those are our guys. I get all the credit, but those three do a lot for us.
And you guys are going to continue to do a lot more. I'm seeing a lot of good things with this team. Again, regardless of what the outcomes and the scores and the statistical things say, there's a lot to say about how this team continues to fight, especially with the amount of adversity that you guys have gone through. So keep that going. Cory, keep being you, man. Don't ever fucking change. We love the hell out of you. Goose, we appreciate you coming on and talking. I'm glad we got to get to know a little bit more about you and what you are as a player. So that makes us even more excited to be able to watch your guys' team and the growth that you guys are going to have. So good luck to you guys the rest of the season. Good luck tomorrow. I know you guys are going to be fighting from beginning to end against a tough team, and it's going to be excited to see. I'm actually going to put a prediction, and people in BIC might be a little mad at it. They're going to score more than 6 points this week. we're getting 12, if not.
The goal.
We're going to go with it. 21 points are getting scored.
The goal is steady improvement, and I'm down with it.
Like I said, I got in about 3 hours, so
Yeah, you gotta go to sleep now.
I got a game, my semi-pro game for the Boston
Oh,
Chargers.
that's what you were saying. Oh, I thought, yeah, I was gonna
Oh,
say.
man.
I thought you said you got to get ready for the game in 3
No,
hours.
my game is at 5
For the
in
Chargers?
Boston. Yeah, for the Boston Chargers.
Oh,
And mine too. I gotta hit the road. I gotta drive to Sacramento. So,
Damn.
God damn it.
hey, registration's still open for the Omegas, my guy. Just get
I'm
over
telling
here.
you, hey, 6'3", yo, that's a goal line right there. That's what's going on.
6'10",
6'10".
6'10"
Yeah.
beast from the southeast. They
Bro,
never
just
said a
walk, yo.
6'3" beast from
We
the
get in the
southeast.
1
That's
yard
just
line.
above average.
We get in the 1 yard line. I have more confidence than a QB sneak or a dive. If you just walk to the goal line and Corey just throws it up, I'm telling you, that's an easy tutty.
hey,
That's
sounds
an easy tutty.
He's
We
the reason I
appreciate
got
guys.
cut from the Snow Tribe, and I stand behind that decision.
Ladies and gentlemen of the Jaffo Army, the Boston Omegas duo, Cory Hammond, Xavier Goose, Vinny. We appreciate you guys for being on with us, and we'll talk to you guys again soon.
Appreciate it, man. Thanks for having me.
All right, have a good one. Let's see. There we go, and then he goes, and then hold on. Let me try and see. Clear 40. I let Hans know to come. He was in the waiting room for a quick second. I saw him in there. I was like, oh shit. I was like, we gotta wrap it up with Cory and Goose real quick so we can get a little bit of Hans' perspective on what's going down with the fights tonight. Tonight is the night. Super fight. Before that, we appreciate Goose and Cory for coming on. A lot of good stuff. I mean, Goose being as young as he is to kind of have the mindset that he has, the want to help grow the not just the team but the division and everything else like that says a lot about what he's probably going to mean to the Boston division. And Cory, man, like we can't say enough good things about Cory. Not just the shit talking guy that you see on the podcast all the time, but he's actually a leader and a good person off camera and stuff like that too. So again, appreciate them for being on with us.
Yeah, I always knew he was a good guy. I always had that Van Wilder feel though. Like I kind of felt that. Like, yeah. I'm be honest with you. In my junior college days, I was the black Van Wilder, but that's neither here nor there. My escapades were wild and fucking all over the board. People wouldn't believe some of the shit I got into.
Oh man.
But that's neither here nor there.
I mean, to be honest, I can believe it. I can believe it. I'll be honest. I can believe it.
Yeah.
But it's gonna be a tough. I was telling them early on, they've gotten like the rough end of the stick these first 4 weeks that they've played because they play the BIC tomorrow. And like I was like, wow, the slew of teams that they've had the murderous row of teams that they've had to go through. And like I said, to still be able to show the fight that they have, they're in good hands. Like
Yeah,
again, it is
close to him. I'm like, I didn't get to see a full game, but I've seen like parts of the game or pieces in the game. You know what I mean? Like, and they look real scrappy. You know what I mean? They look like they really trying to go out there and compete versus just folding over. You know what I'm saying? Like just people seeing an uphill battle and just folding over. So they're a scrappy team. I just
it is. Again, they're in good hands. I mean, with Cory, the wealth of knowledge that he brings to that team and the amount of talent that they actually do have, it's a good combination. They'll be fine. I don't think, again, any of them had the, as Corey says, delusions of winning a championship. But the fact that all of them have an understanding that it's going to be a building process is actually the key point in the whole thing. The fact that they know and they're not going to give up and they're basically going to keep going until they can't anymore.
Right.
That's the main part and the main reason why that team is gonna and that division is gonna grow bigger than what it is. So with Hans, I think that small little window that he was in there, that probably might have been the only window. We were gonna have him on and everything when we were gonna go yesterday, and we were gonna have him on before, but again, with the circumstances of what's going to happen today, um, with Gervonte Davis and Ryan Garcia, it has been an absolute hell 2 weeks, um, for Hans. So the fact that he was even, gracious enough to try to give us a little bit of time, is I'm thankful for that enough as it possibly is because I know because we've tried to get him on, for fight weekends and stuff like that before. And it's usually been a no-go because of the fact that he's so busy, that he does so much. So the fact that he was like trying to get on and stuff like that, I appreciate that. Um, but yeah, man, this fight, um, I'm seeing a lot of things. I don't know what you've seen about it, but from what I've seen, some people are saying that this is the fight that's going to save boxing. Some people are saying that the winner of this fight is the pound for pound king and the face of boxing. Um, to be quite honest, and knowing what's out there in the boxing world, I don't necessarily know if I can agree with those sayings. I don't know if saving boxing is the right word. Um, putting a big spark into it, that could definitely be it, but I don't know about saving boxing. And as far as pound for pound king, um, I don't know about that either because neither one of them are undisputed champions. And even after this fight, there still won't be there'll be a champion, but not an undisputed champion. There are other undisputed champions around that I think are so it some of the words that go with, and I get the wording is meant to build up the fight. Um, but from what you seen anything about this weekend that makes you think that this is going to be one of those fights that kind of changes the game?
I mean, I can understand the context of where they're coming from. I mean, y'all say all the time that you really like Floyd ducked and dodged everybody. He was 50-0. Like the last real time you had to have a fighter that was undefeated, really taking big fights and shit like that, and or making big fights was Floyd essentially.
Yeah.
That was undefeated. So it's
Yeah.
like, yeah, they're trying to boost the shit up and make it seem like because both of these guys are good and they fighting each other, and there's clearly a real dislike there. So you take all of that in consideration. It's like, yeah, at this point, you don't have Tyson and Holyfield type of, you know what I mean, feel. You don't have none of those type of big boxing feels right now. That's just from my perspective, and I'm
Yeah.
much of a fair weather fan. It ain't even funny. So that's just me just explaining like from a person that just like, really just catch the fights in big moments. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
so
Well,
that's what it looks like.
it's more of like the casual fan, the one that goes in and you understand when the big moments are and stuff like that. But there hasn't been, like I said, a lot of big moment fights. Like the last one, big moment, big fight feel that it really had to it, which it was probably Wilder and Fury.
I mean,
That
yeah, I guess.
that trilogy was kind of the last time people were really saying that, oh man, like this is one of the best trilogies in boxing history and everything. Even I was saying like that because these two went to all out war with each other for 3 fights. You know, it's just
Well, we'll say 2.5. Like that second one wasn't really a fight.
well, yeah, no, that's that's true. But the fact that Wilder has literally been one of 2 fighters, I think, in history that has actually put Tyson Fury on his ass. Um, Not a lot of people can say that they've done that, and I think Wilder has been the closest one to beating him. Everybody remembers the first fight when Wilder put him down, and then miraculously, like the Undertaker leaning up after getting hit, comes back and beats the 10 count.
Yeah, but I'm saying that was tight, but at the same exact time, it was during COVID. So you didn't really get the full feel of that. You know what I mean?
Well, the beginning fight, or like the first fight, was before COVID.
Yeah, but the other 2 wasn't. You see what I'm saying?
That's true.
So that's what I'm saying. The other 2 fights is really what finishes it off. Like, yeah, we was able to see great fights, but were we able to fully feel the great fights? Were we able to get the full experiences that everyone would get from those fights? You might got some of it on the third one, but that second one for damn sure it wasn't. You know what I mean? So like it was.
Yeah, that second one, Wilder got worked.
This is like the first fight that you get the real feel and get the full experience of everything, where everybody's like fight parties and things like that. Like the whole world is able to experience it now. Well, to an extent. Some countries are, real strict with theirs, but you know what I mean? That's just what it is. Like you get the real feel for it. You get different places and bars and pubs and like fight parties and people houses and barbecues and crab rolls. You know what I mean?
Crab. Ooh. Sounds really good. Hey, by the way, shout out to Jocelyn, Aaron, Amanda, and Logan. We're gonna be watching the fight later on over at Jocelyn's place today. Getting some Costco pizzas and shit, enjoy the day.
What time is the fight?
The fight itself, or the main card, starts at 5. So that probably means Davis Garcia won't go on until about maybe 7 or 8.
Perfect.
Depending on how the fights before it goes, because there's 4 fights. There's the 3 undercards, and then there's the 4th. So, I mean, unless all 3 of the first fights end in a first round knockout, which doesn't really happen ever. And most of these, I think, are 10-round bouts.
Right.
Yeah, it'll probably be around like 7 or 8 o'clock where Garcia and Davis actually fight.
Yeah, if it wasn't today, I would be like, hey, I got the game up there at 3, so whatever. But fuck it. I'm trying to make sure I got enough time to make it back to see some of the fight.
I was gonna say, like, it's gonna be a little, or you have your game at 3?
Yeah, at River City High, but and it's we're playing a below average team, so it's gonna be real fast. Like the last game, I left at like third quarter, bro.
Hold on, let me ask something.
So yeah, people, make sure you guys check out the Ryan Garcia and Gervonte Davis fight. It's gonna be a good one. You know what I mean? You got 2 good boxers going in. You know what I mean? And also, if you're in the Sacramento area, make sure you check out the games that's out there. The Fury might be playing out there, but fuck them. You got I'm playing on the River City Tigers are playing at River City High School at 3 p.m. You guys able to come? Come.
3 p.m. and then the fight at 5. Damn, there's a lot going on today. And then all A7FL going on tomorrow. Let's see, what else is going on? Oh, yeah, the NBA playoffs.
I told you Steph was on some other shit. Hey, look.
Hey, the Kings had an absolutely terrible shooting night that night. I'm not gonna lie to you. That was pretty bad.
Yeah, but Steph was on some other shit, like I
Steph
said.
was also on some other shit, yes. And I think and I mean we talked about it. Like, if Steph is going up, like Steph being on the court is the best chance for the Warriors right now. And the fact that he went off, and then basically the rest of the Kings, we're not shooting. I'm not going to blame anything. We're going to call with the fouls, and I was like, no. This was one of those games. The Kings just had a shitty shooting night. They had an opportunity to take advantage of the fact that Draymond wasn't going to be in, and they couldn't execute. So that they gotta deal with that now. So like this game is this series is, in my opinion, gonna go 6 or 7. It's gonna be a long series. One team is gonna have to lose at home, and we both know both teams are good at home. So it's gonna be a rough one. It's gonna be a rough series for them. As for everybody else, to be honest, I feel like the Warriors and the Kings are the best story right now.
Why is that?
That's just because of what it is. The Kings being their first time in the playoffs and playing against the defending champions, and there's more, I guess, a little bit of like that little rivalry storyline where the Warriors have been, what people have been saying, little broing the Kings for a long period of time.
Yeah.
So for them to get their wins and stuff like that when they can, it's one of those things. To whereas every other series, I don't feel has necessarily that.
The Suns, Clippers, easily overshadowed y'all because you got KD Russ, you got Chris Paul versus the Clippers, Chris Paul versus Scott Foster. That's just 3 right there in itself.
Chris Paul versus Boston.
Scott Foster for sure. Like for sure. Like real. Yeah, so
yeah, ladies and gentlemen, it's gonna be a great weekend. We appreciate you guys hanging out with us in the morning, talking with Goose and Cory for the A7FL. Sorry that Hans, we had that small time frame that he was in there. I was trying to wrap it up as soon as possible, but as we wrapped it up, he had to go. So it is what it is. That's fine. It's going to be a great weekend. Hopefully, maybe we can talk to Hans next week. We talk about the repercussions of the whole weekend and see how it goes down. That'll be an interesting conversation to have. So we appreciate you guys hanging out with us today. We appreciate again Cory and Goose, the A7FL. We appreciate you, and I keep repeating myself. We appreciate the fuck out of everything and everybody for the All Pro JAFFOs, highly elevated sports talk, for the highly elevated sports fan. For myself, JP, for the 610 Beast from the Southeast, Mr. Country K. We will see you guys again on Wednesday. Deuces.